Welcome. We're so glad to have you. Take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much, Carol. What an honor it is to be here in the midst of the smart ones. We like to call them smarties, or the smart ones out here in the Coachella Valley. A very warm and cordial welcome to all of our family from HomeSmart Professionals, and of course our HomeSmart International family that will be taking a look at this recorded video. All right, so today we're talking about Escrow 101. How does it impact, especially the timeline, with the rise and close of a successful escrow? Equitable Escrow has been in business about 4.5, 5 years now in Coachella Valley. We are very glad to be able to service the La Quinta and Palm Desert and Palm Springs offices of HomeSmart Professionals and others. We're very also excited to be able to share with you that it is time for a better approach. Some of the things that set us apart from other escrow companies, well, would be first and foremost, I think, is the type of service that we are assisting our real estate agents with, the marketing solutions to grow your business. We have a special niche that really no other escrow company in Coachella Valley is doing, and we'll share that with you toward the end of this presentation. Also, we do have an incredible list of ladies that are our escrow officers, and our new senior escrow officer will be introducing them at the end of this presentation as well. One of the things that set us apart, I'd like to share it with a story. Recently, we had a doctor that for the life of him, he could not close at any of the offices, even at his house. He was so busy with surgeries that the only way we could close was between two surgeries, and we sent our convenient mobile signing service to the hospital. He signed all the documents right there, closed on his home, and that's the type of service that we want to roll out the red carpet for your clients. Whether you have a buyer, whether you have a seller, whether it's a refi, we are here to have a really great experience. And we'll be talking about one specific thing that you can do as a realtor, especially within this last 1 year, that can really help us in helping them having a great experience. So with that introduction, it's time for a better approach. What is escrow? Contrary to whatever you saw in Three's Company with Mr. Furley, when he said escargot, escrow is not escargot. I thought it was at the very beginning when I started real estate back in 2007. I sat down with an escrow officer, and she schooled me in what I ended up putting some stuff together for you all. What is escrow? It basically helps to convey property from a seller to a buyer. It encumbers a property with a new mortgage. Equitable Escrow provides escrow and settlement services as a third neutral party to the transaction. Please understand that when we talk about closing an escrow, there is the involvement of several parties, among them a title company. Equitable is called Equitable Title and Escrow in other markets like Arizona. In California, Equitable is only an escrow service. We form strong ties with Fidelity, Tracy LaRue. So make sure as you're doing these things out there, bring in these beautiful escrows to us, that you are putting Tracy out there with Fidelity and your Equitable Escrow out here to get the job done. We are a neutral third party to the transaction. We act upon the instructions of the principal as stated in the RPA. So when you're filling out page 1 and 2 and page 10 of the RPA, you'll see there specifically the joint escrow instructions. And so we will follow what you place on that document. It's pretty important. So some of the coordination of tasks that we are called to do: we'll deposit and disperse funds. We'll process and coordinate the flow of documents and funds. We'll open, of course, a preliminary title report with the title company specified specifically in the contract. We can't tell you which one. We can only recommend, as some of our friends are doing. We respond to the lender's requirements. That's very, very important, the communication going on between the lender and the escrow company. We will also coordinate the signing of loan docs and the closing docs. We will prorate and adjust insurance, taxes, rents, whatever is needed. We'll authorize the recording of a grant deed or applicable deed of trust, causing issuance of a title policy and loan docs. And of course, we prepare the final statement outlining the funds received and those to be dispersed in the transaction. In other words, we get you paid. So be nice to your escrow officers and also your marketing rep, please. Okay, so when we talk about the flow is everything. Whether you're surfing, whether you're playing chess, you gotta be in that zone. And we want each of your escrows to be in that zone. Yes, as many of you that are on this call that I'm seeing you right here can attest, we are thrown wrenches with sellers in Canada. Hello, Phil. All of a sudden, we have issues with people going through a divorce. It's kind of it's hard. We have issues that come up at the last time, at the last moment. Don't forget, there are now 2 and 3 and 4 income verification calls for your buyer. So we want to have a smooth close of escrow. It doesn't mean it's not bumpy. All escrows are bumpy. All escrows are like giving childbirth. No two are the same. It's always a little painful, some more than others, but we will land it. We will land it right. We will land it on time. And we have some great escrow officers, over 20 years of experience in our escrow office with everything that could be thrown at us from regular fee simple properties to land lease to Bureau of Indian Affairs. I mean, HOAs at the last moment. I mean, we'll turn around and do some miracles, but if we can all work together, we can make it a really smooth close of escrow. What happens? You have an fully executed real estate purchase agreement. You have all your counters, all the addendums, everything together, and you send this off to escrow, and escrow is open. The moment escrow is open, there's about 3 days for us to get the earnest money deposit, the EMD, deposited. So make sure that buyers bring that in, right? We are told, our brokers, many of them don't want you to touch the EMD. Make sure the buyer's bringing that in, right? Day 7, so as soon as we open, about a week later, disclosures should already be sent over to the buyer's agent to have that going over, reviewing, signing that off. The NHD should have already been ordered. The preliminary title report should have already been sent to the parties. Make sure to read it. Make sure to go over it. Please help us help you in getting those HOAs, especially in Coachella Valley. About 60 to maybe 70% of the homes, all of them are in some sort of an HOA club, whether it be a tennis club or golf club or country club. So the sooner we can get those, especially within the first week, the better off, because it does take some time to clear all that out. A couple of days later, 10 days later, we want to make sure that all the pest inspections, all that has been taken care of, and sellers and buyers, everybody's ready to remove contingencies. Now the buyers are out of the, I like to call it out of the dungeon, right? So the house goes in the dungeon, the buyers go in the dungeon, and then they come out of all the different underwriting requirements that they have to hurl over. Then day 17, contingencies are finally removed. We got to see that home one more time. Day 25, final walkthrough. And then finally, the close of escrow, recording and closing of escrow. There's several things that are bunched in here in these special markers, such as, of course, getting the home appraised, getting that blessed termite and pest inspection. Try to get that at the listing if you can. The home inspection, of course. Buyers come, and the house, both of them come out of underwriting. Final income verification, again, pretty important. If you have the buyer, make sure they're not buying any big TV or new car. Make sure that they have, I remember when I was selling, I had to go to a casino and beg for the sales manager to keep the hours at 40 hours for my buyer, because if he did not keep it at 40 hours, she was not going to qualify. So he said, well, we're helping her get a house, not a big deal. We'll extend it for another month or so. Whatever you have to do so that the buyer can come out of out of underwriting, and the final verification sometimes it's done 2 or 3 times nowadays, right before the end of the close of escrow, sometimes even right after. So you just want to make sure that they have that job still with them. Repairs, of course, if applicable, and of course, the very blessed lender funds the loan, right? So that final step, and then of course, buyer, seller, signed docs. These are important markers in an escrow. So when we look at the whole life of an escrow, here is a great chart to always give you, whether you are a beginning realtor or whether you already are a seasoned realtor, just a quick reminder. They start off with a realtor at the left with the buyer, right with the seller, and through the buying scenario, the buying experience, they'll get pre-approved. They got to get pre-approved first. Then they view the homes with the professional real estate agent. They'll inspect the report sent to them by the party, specifically all the docs we talked about at the beginning, the disclosures. They'll get the preliminary title report to take a look at it and get that approved by the buyer. They'll have the closing documents compiled by the escrow company. They will set a time. Of course, the buyer will select the home. The buyer will review the contracts. They'll send the contract, everything signed. Orders, inspection orders are done, are ordered. Of course, now they see the inspection reports, the prelim, the appraisal comes in, everything's hunky-dory, right? I always hold my breath at that moment. Buyers advise the escrow company of the home insurance company. Don't leave this to the end. It's not fun when they're already signing docs and oops, somebody forgot to order the home insurance company. That's happened to me a couple of times. Don't be caught there. Buyer receives final loan approval from the lender and lender funds. Closing docs are issued. Appointments to sign the docs take place. The buyer requires deposits their required funds. And here I want to stop and ask you, beg you, whatever I have to do to please make this, like Rich said at last Tuesday's regional Zoom meeting, to put the fear of God in your buyer. So here, right here, where the buyer deposits the required funds, there are some bad actors in underwear with a laptop. It's 4 in the afternoon and they're still eating Cheetos. These people are intercepting emails, and they will make an email look exactly the same as a lender or as an escrow officer's email. Okay, so the buyer will get an email from his or her lender, or they will get an email from his or her escrow officer. The buyer will. It will look 100% the same, only that when you click on the name of the lender or the name of the escrow officer, it's not the email. It goes to some other crazy place. So it will say, okay, we are ready for you, Mr. Buyer, to deposit your required funds. So now they're depositing $40,000, $180,000, $250,000, and they sent it off to the wire instructions that look totally legit, but it's a different account. And when they call the escrow company a couple of days later saying, hey, why haven't we closed? We're still waiting for you to deposit your funds, but I did it yesterday. Where? We didn't, but I got an email from you. Oh my goodness. This is happening to every lender and escrow title company. We need to be instructing our buyers that they need to be calling the escrow company as they are sending in the funds. In other words, stay on the phone. This here will make it a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience or a very sour experience. Case in point, last week. Who do we fault? The lender. They copied the lender. It looked just like a lender's email. Who do we fault? The escrow company. The lender sent them wire instructions with our logo. But the lender's doing his work, escrow's doing their work, but this Cheeto-eating person is a scammer. They know what they're doing. And the fear of God was placed in this man by our escrow officer that I love so very much. And she's drilling this in their mind over and over again. And you have to do this too. Okay? And he received it and he was about to send it. And he says, you know what? She told me, and every email has fraud alert and every communication we're reminding people. Let me just call her to make sure it really came from her. And guess what? It didn't. It wasn't. It would have gone to somebody else had he not called our escrow company to make sure. Again, it's extremely, extremely important. Here, buyer deposits required funds. If you are a more experienced real estate agent or realtor, it's not like it was 3 years ago. It's not like it was 2.5 years ago. This is a newer phenomenon that's happening. It's happening now more and more. You can safely bet that about 50% of your closings, we're going to have this issue. So part of your best practices is to help us, help you. Help the lender, help your buyer. We need to put, as Rich said, the fear of God in our buyers and let them know when you are about to deposit those required, send the funds, call escrow. Call them as you're doing it on the phone. This I cannot overemphasize. In fact, I could stop the whole meeting right here and I would have achieved all my desired results from this meeting if this is the only thing we take from this. We send out emails, we tell them, and they still send it wrong because they're human, because I'm human and you're human. But the more it takes a village, at this point, it does take a village. The more the lender, the more the escrow officer, and the more the realtor tells them, hopefully they'll remember. Okay, so it's pretty important that we are all together in this. I know I'm belaboring this point, but I'm just hoping that you help us help you have for your seller or buyer a real pleasant experience. Okay, so loan docs are returned to the lender for review. Escrow company ensures all contracts conditions have been met. Lender funds the loan. Documents are now recorded. Escrow is closed. You get that beautiful email. We closed escrow. Congratulations. What comes after that? I know what comes after that. 5 o'clock, right? What happens now is you record everything. The escrow company disperses the funds. Among those funds that are dispersed, of course, is the check going to your broker, and there you get your check. Buyers receive their keys from the real estate professional. Again, I can't belabor this point also enough. I'll keep making it short because I am long-winded. Believe me. They tell me 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, can I put out everything in 45 minutes? I'll try to. This is the moment, if you have a YouTube channel, a Facebook, social media outlet, Instagram, this is the moment not to be humble or not to be shy. This is the moment to get them with the keys and the picture and have them say a few words about you, because people sell people. And we are in the referral business, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So don't just give them the keys. Make it a big thing. Make it a big deal. And of course, all final documents are sent to the interested parties. Among them, of course, is the direct deposit or check to the seller for their proceeds and all that. So this is ballpark how your escrow is seen through the lenses of what really happens out there in the real world. Unfortunately, some bad actors, but through the lenses of your escrow, of your equitable escrow company. Okay.
So before you leave that screen.
Yes, ma'am.
So is that in your buyer seller guide, or do you have the PDF of it that you can share with everybody afterwards? I told them that we would, because I just took a screenshot of it, but I want to make sure.
Absolutely. I'll send you, and you can send everyone, or I can send to everyone, the whole PowerPoint presentation. So perfect. they'll have this there as well. Absolutely.
we're going to give you the list of names and you can send it to them. That way you
Absolutely.
have direct contact with those agents, because that's what this is all about. So
It'll be,
right
it'll be
ahead.
an honor. It'll be an honor.
Perfect.
Yeah. I've worked with many of them. I feel like I'm with family right here. So that's why I feel so happy. Okay, so y'all remember Abbott and Costello, you know, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third. I don't give a darn, it's a shortstop. I love that. What's on left field? Well, we got to know who's doing what, right? So the listing agent, what does the listing agent do in an escrow? The seller, what does the seller do in an escrow? The selling agent, what does he do for his buyer and for the escrow? And what does a buyer do? So pretty important. Let's talk about this right now. Okay, so the seller. And this is good best practices to have, is just to order the termite inspection out the bat. Just get that out of the way. If there are termites, just get the house done and ready before that happens, right? We want to furnish escrow the complete and accurate names, addresses, loan numbers of any existing lenders that need to be paid through escrow. I would also add to that, because we have so many Latinos in Coachella Valley, they need to furnish escrow with the complete name of the party, of the seller, right? Meaning, like, my name is Harold Jose Zapata Parra. Harold because of my dad, Jose because of my grandpa, that's maternal. Zapata, my dad's last name. Parra, my maternal's grandpa last name. That's just the way it goes. So you have many Hispanics with a lot of different names. And so we have seen this before, where there's a hiccup toward the end, because there's a lot of Juan Chavez's, Jesus Gutierrez's. Yeah, but they also have middle names. So it's not Chuy. His name is Jesus, Jesus, not Chuy. So we have to have the exact name as it needs to be recorded on title. You got to furnish escrow, of course, with all the lenders you got to pay out. Keep payments current on all the loans of record, and especially HOA dues. Just because you're in escrow does not mean that you're going to stop paying your HOA dues. That has also been for a headache. If a loan has been sold, they got to tell escrow immediately. Sellers need to advise escrow of what property taxes they've already been paid. They need to provide escrow with forwarding address prior to close of escrow. They got to sign docs when they're asked, and if they can't, we'll send out a mobile notary, even if it's between two surgeries, right? We'll do that. They got to pick up the check, or make sure they've given arrangements with escrow at close of escrow for the arrangement of the direct deposit or the seller's proceeds. Those are some of the things sellers do. The listing agent, of course, opens escrow in person, fax, or email. You gotta send us the fully executed. Please listen to Rich when he's talking about filling out page 1, 2, and 10 of the RPA, making sure you have the right name of the other broker and the complete name of the agent with their California BRE license. That all helps us out. And of course, those joint escrow instructions, we will be so glad if you could just put that in your RPA, in your template, to have Equitable Escrow as your escrow company. We appreciate all the deals that we were able to do together. And of course, send us all the counters, the addendums, and the escrow cover sheet. Send the seller disclosures and other pertinent docs as soon as you can to the buyer's agent. Follow up with the seller, make sure they're completing their escrow instructions. And one of the main things, we got to make sure we get those completed HOA docs. We just got to get them as soon as we can. Order the home warranty, the amount that's requested in the contract. Notify seller when to order termite inspection, hopefully, as you take the listing. Notify escrow of any changes to the contract. In fact, I will say that sometimes sellers will not give their full name. We had an issue recently where right at the very end, it was not that you can occasion an extension of the close of escrow just by that little thing. So you just got to make sure the full name is there. Okay, the buyer. The main thing, you got to get a pre-qual letter, pre-approved letter, desk underwriter's letter. You got to stay in contact with the lender. You got to stay in contact with your real estate buyer's agent while the loan is in process. You got to fully cooperate with the lender. Again, don't purchase that new 75-inch plasma TV, the car, the jewelry. It's not the time to spend on going on vacation. Those things could decrease the FICO score while the loan is in process. Even paying off a whole credit card. Talk to your lender first. Pretty important. Fire insurance, you got to get that order before you close everything. We got to know who's the company, who's the agent, and what's your phone number before closing escrow. Buyer they got to keep their same hours at work. Again, I can't overemphasize that enough. There is a second and even a third and even a fourth income verification call. And again, when the time comes, you got to come in and sign docs when escrow prompts you to do it, or we'll send out a mobile notary. Mobile notaries are free for sellers. There is a minimal charge for buyers. The selling agent, again, this is the buyer's agent. Got to make sure that the buyer brings that good faith deposit or EMD, earnest money deposit, to Equitable. You got to provide escrow with buyer's lender's information. Advise buyer to obtain fire insurance agent and provide that to info to escrow as soon as possible. Provide escrow with buyer's current address. Notify escrow immediately of any changes to buyer or lender. Have buyer provide their vesting in a timely manner to avoid delays. Notify buyer to contact escrow right before wiring funds in order to avoid fraud. And I know I belabored that point. Please have that conversation. Just like you had the conversation growing up, this is the conversation with your buyer that you have to have throughout the process, right? So even at the very beginning, when you have your buyer's appointment presentation, hopefully you can add this point there, letting them know that they have definite responsibility to make sure that they're wiring in those funds to the right account because of those bad actors we have out there. And of course, give buyer their keys once close of escrow takes place. So starting wrapping things up here just a little bit, the close of escrow. So how does a close of escrow smell like, look like? So if you can turn on in your mind's cinema, in your mind's eye, after the buyer has deposited the balance of their funds and have signed loan docs, they are returned to the lender for funding the loan. When the lender funds the loan, this means that all conditions of the loan have been met, as well as all conditions of the escrow. At this time, Equitable Escrow authorizes the filing of all docs, including the deed, which transfers title to the new buyer. After the recording of docs, escrow disperses all funds in accordance to the escrow instructions, including loan payoffs, real estate commissions, recording fees, and the seller's proceeds. A closing statement showing an accounting of these funds is also furnished to the buyers and the sellers. The recording of the deed and other docs constitutes the close of escrow, and the buyer becomes the new owner. So this is how that last moment happens, and then you get the email saying we have closed escrow. I wanted to take a moment to share with you this slide. We recently had Gina Thompson, our senior escrow officer, move for family reasons to Chicago, Illinois, just last week. So we're saying, I want to say officially goodbye here to Gina Thompson. She's been with us since the very beginning here in Equitable Escrow's story in Coachella Valley. And we have now Priscilla Garcia as the new senior escrow officer. Both of these ladies have worked together for more than 2 decades together. And it's in very good hands, the future of Equitable Escrow in the Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, Coachella Valley area. We also have a young lady by the name of Priscilla Guzman, who took the place of Priscilla Garcia. So we have 2 Priscillas in our Equitable Escrow office. She is a sweetheart, 5 years experience doing escrows, and she actually had worked with us prior to going into maternity leave 10 months ago. So we're happy to have her back here with us. And to finish off, some of the marketing things that we are able to do for our real estate clients, my clients, HomeSmart Professional, my family. And this is called a home tour video. So in this case, we have Judy Glenn here. And if you have a chance to go to your YouTube and click or search Equitable Escrow, you'll land on our YouTube channel. I have over 100 videos that we've done, about 100 videos that we've done for many of our agents. And this is one of them. We are able to showcase from still pictures and your own videos, a beautiful home tour video that has moving pictures and or video with voice narration and a beautiful musical background, and all that in about a minute and a half to 2 minutes long. This is a free complimentary service that we're able to do for all real estate agents, specifically of our family here at HomeSmart Professionals. And I keep on saying family because the owner of HomeSmart Professionals, HomeSmart International, of the corporate, Matt Widows, is also the owner of Equitable Escrow, Title and Escrow. So we are part of the same smart partners of companies such as also Minute Mortgage in the Arizona area, Platinum Home Warranty in the Arizona area. And here in Coachella Valley, we also have as a smart partner, Franklin Loan Center with Sean LaRue, encouraging all of you who have buyers to get them pre-qualified, pre-approved with Sean LaRue. We both are smart partners of HomeSmart Professionals, and there are other smart affiliates that you've seen with different home warranties, Old Republic, for example, Home Masters, and others. So it's great to be part of your sales team. And this is one thing that I'm glad to be able to do. It's a labor of love. It takes 4 to 6 hours to complete each one. And I am very busy doing these for our agents. And the best thing is that it's actually making a difference in their social media footprint, and it's allowing them to upload these to the MLS. And we see hundreds of views in some of these videos. And I'm very, very proud to be part of the Equitable Escrow team that gets to do this for you all. So complimentary service, make that part of your best practices. When you do have a listing, make sure that you're able to email me. Very simple. You'll see my email here in a second. hzapata@eqescrow.com. And all I need is basically your pictures, any videos that you took with your video professional or with your own cell phone. You won't believe the magic that we can do with these little things. And I need basically your description. I'll rewrite a little bit the description, and then I'll get to work on putting out some really great material you can be proud of. And we're also doing this with some of our agents. They've said, look, well, Harold, last year I sold a 1.8 million, a 2.5 million property. I want to get in that hierarchy. No problem. It was your listing. If you have those pictures, I'll do it as if you just had it right, as if you're putting it right now, because you want to hit that market. You want to show what your marketing team, you get the credit. We just ask, that we're able to reciprocate and that we're able to help you close those deals. So on behalf of both Priscillas, Priscilla Guzman and Priscilla Garcia, yours truly, Harold Zapata, thank you so much for being part of this Escrow 101 class. Hopefully these glasses that you were able to see your escrow through our work was helpful. And I want to thank you all so much for being in this meeting.